Now, the first thing we need to do in order to get the new bash plate on is to remove the old one. And that's a pretty straightforward process. You have one screw here and one at the other side. We're going to start by undoing them. Okay, let's just see if I can adjust the camera for you guys. There you go. You can probably see it right there. And it looks like it torques 30. Just so happens that I have it right here. Undoing that one. Oh boy, I have to go to the other side for the other one. And that's it. That was no biggie. So here's the old bash plate. And there's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just that it's a little bit small. And maybe it won't take, well, it's pretty sturdy, but the other one is even better. So let's have a look at that one. So this is the new bash plate from AXP Racing. AXP Racing, and they come with two decals depending on which machine you want to use it on. In my case, it's this one, the 701. It's pretty cool. AXP Racing. And look at that thing. It's just massive, man. Look how thick it is. It's really sturdy and solid. Like, I can jump on this thing. It's not gonna budge, it's not gonna crack, it's not gonna do nothing. And if you look at the size of it, that's the small one. It fits right inside that one. And the new one, the best thing about it is the length of it all. And this part here and this part here, it goes all the way back to cover the linkage and to protect the brake cylinder and everything down here, which is awesome. So I'm really looking forward to putting this on, and I'm going to show you the result afterwards. I'm going to also show you a little bit of the process. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to mount everything together. And of course, when I say in my Swedish English that we're going to mount everything together, I mean we're going to assemble it. Sorry for that. Okay, so right now I'm looking inside of the bash plate. And you have these 4 holes here, 2 there, 2 there. Step 1 will be to assemble and install these guys, brackets like that. We're going to install them in these holes using bolts and screws 6x20 and lock nuts on the back. And as you guys can see, I'm just trying to do this one-handed to be able to show you how it's done. But I mean, I'm only human. I can only do so much with one hand. And so we're switching over to a different strategy. This is the way they are, and now I'm just going to tighten them down. You have at the back, you have 4mm hex key and 10mm Allen key here. And here it is, tightened down the way it should. You don't have to over tighten it, but I mean you want the screws on the other side to be pretty flush with the surface of the bash plate. Maybe not 100% flush, but still pretty flush. The next step will be to mount these brackets. They are identical, so you don't really have to care which one goes where. And instructions tell me to use, okay, let's just say 6 by 30 millimeter screws here in the front and 6 by 20 in the back. Or this is technically the front of the bike. So 6 by 20 here, 6 by 30 in the back. Okay, so this is the finished product. You have the brackets mounted, screws tightened, brackets in the front. Now what's left is to put it in place. And the screws here at the bottom, those guys you really do want them flush with the surface, because you don't want them sticking out. Now before you mount, or you try to mount the bash plate, you have to remove this screw here in the back for the brake cylinder, because that's going to be, well, we're going to use another screw there. It's going to match the hole here in the bash plate. So before you do that, you remove this screw here. You have an 8 millimeter here at the top and 10 at the bottom. Alright, this is me on the ground. Let's just see. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to try to explain this. You see the hooks here on the brackets? They have to go on top of this black linkage here. So that's where they're going to slot in on top, which means you're going to have to push pretty hard in order to bend this part down. So, I mean, because this one is going to be pushing up against here in the back. So you really need to push that hard for the hooks to be able to slot in here on top. Good luck. I need it. Okay, so now we got it to here. No screws are in yet. You can see there's a little bit of space here in between. I have to push that in order to put the screws in. But you can get a feel for the way it's gonna look. I mean, look, it's really, it has great coverage. And then afterwards, also here we're gonna put the bolt in here as well, or screw in here. But this is the way it looks now. Before, you can't use the original screws for the bash plate because they have a different look to them. You see they're pretty fat here at the top. That's not gonna work with these holes. So you have to use the supplied screws. Came with the kit. And also, well, I don't know if you need to do a washer, but there are washers. Still have some washers left, so why not use them? Now, just a small note here. I don't know exactly which way it's supposed to be, if you want the nut on top or at the bottom. But either way you do it, I guess it looks like you need the nut on top from the instructions. But either way you look at it, you know, just a small detail. This guy here is 8 millimeter at the top and 10 at the bottom for loosening, you know, for the brake cylinder. So the second one for the brake cylinder will now be a 10 millimeter at the top and 10 at the bottom. A nice touch would have been if this one was 8 millimeter. But that, I mean, it's a small detail, but that would have been awesome. Okay, so these screws are in now. It was a little bit of squeeze and screw, but that's okay. I put a little bit of Loctite on there too. A little bit of Loctite never hurt anyone, I think. And once that's done, we go and we tighten this one back here, because you don't want to be fighting this when you're putting these guys in. So that's why I waited to tighten this until the last one, until the very end. I'm getting tired. Alright, so I'm going to tighten that down, and then I'm going to put the sticker on in the front, and then I'm going to show you guys the results. So a small correction: when you put this one in here in the back, make sure you have the bolt or screw head up here and the nut at the bottom, and make sure to use the flanged nut that was supplied in the kit because you don't want this one, the nut, to start eating its way into the hole. The flange nut is the right way to go. It's a little bit wider at the bottom. So flange nut, bolt head, screw head at the top, and you'll be good to go. Saving for last, we're going to put that sticker here. I thought it was pretty cool. Could be a nice addition. But before you do that, make sure you clean the surface so that there's no greasy residue. And then we'll put that here. And there it is, guys. Sticker is on. Now I'm going to show you. Well, we'll back it up just a little bit. Going underneath. You see how well it covers all the way back, all the way until the wheel, basically. And even here, protecting the brake cylinder in a perfect way. A nice finish here at the end. So I mean, the way it covers is really amazing, and look at how sturdy it is. I mean, I'm not going to be able to crack that even if I try. Not that I want to. So there it is. Bashplate from AXP Racing. Link to the product is down below in the description. So guys, thank you for joining me for this moment of wrenching and installing this Bashplate on the Husqvarna 701 Enduro. And please give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.